Love. Isn't that supposed to make your life fun and roses? Like we both are looking at the same road, but I will see a zebra crossing. But you, who are in love, will see it as a rainbow after a serious downpour. Love. So beautiful, so alive that just the thought of it makes your stomach tingle. Today, let's talk about how to stab it with a pitchfork multiple times till it gives up breathing and shove it into the truck of our G Wagon. Excuse me while I take help to discuss this through a fresh jewel from my collection of PG 13 Webtoon Tears on a Withered Flower. Our story starts with our protagonist, Hae-soo, in denial about her marriage situation. Well, not really marriage, but like divorce situation with Mincheol, her high school sweetheart. Mincheol is like a red flag personified. Everything he does makes your blood boil, makes you question how sane Hae-soo is to begin with, to still choose to be with this man. If you can get past the exaggerated proportions of our lead characters, you will begin to see the underlying issue at hand. Mincheol had started dehumanizing Hae-soo, but it didn't always used to be like this. Whenever we get flashbacks from their younger times, they both seem so perfect and so much in love and just made for each other. And because of this, it brings forth the question, why? Why was once a seemingly perfect couple who both stemmed out of broken homes and found comfort in each other shattered like a delicate china that you stubbornly took off the shelf even after your mother told you not to? The answer might not be as simple as you would like to guess. For the people who have already read the webtoon, we all know Mincheol is an ungrateful piece of filth, mooching off Hae-soo's long hours at minimum wage jobs. And no surprise here, ends up cheating on Hae-soo with someone much younger. Yet, every time he would do something bad, there would always be a thought in the back of his mind. How would Hae-soo react to this? Even when he brings the girl he is cheating with to their apartment, all the while they are fooling around, he is thinking, what if she walks in and sees us? Not as in he's afraid of being caught, but on the contrary, wanting to get caught. Absurd, right? A part of him wanted to be found out. He wanted to see the seemingly perfect image of Hae-soo break apart right in front of his eyes. But why did he want that? Why couldn't it just be as simple as, you don't do it for me anymore, so I will go soak my nuts in different brine? See, Mincheol was under a lot of debt when Hae-soo was married to him. Hae-soo, being absolutely in love, decides to take on the responsibility to help pay it off, working alongside him. But over time, her hands become rough. Her soul is weighed under poverty and long hours of work, and still a never-ending debt. She starts thinking twice before making any purchase. It stops being about what makes me happy and starts being about this is my duty as a committed lover. Mincheol, on the other hand, carefree as ever, is not weighed down by his actions. He quickly gets past that he was the one who has inflicted this misery onto Hae-soo and starts whining about surface level issues such as she doesn't smile anymore, she doesn't react as much, all she does is work, she gives me no attention. Yeah, I mean, no shit, Sherlock. Over time, the loss of youth of Hae-soo, symbolized by the withered flower, begins affecting Mincheol, a flower with no vigor for life, only fulfilling her duties without as much as a smile on her face. This becomes apparent when Hae-soo, for the first time in a very long time, buys a freshly bloomed flower and places it right in the middle of her living area. Mincheol had just come home from fooling around with his affair. He spots the flower in the vase and pounces on Hae-soo. And he admitted then, while rolling around with her on the floor for the first time since the webtoon had started, I found her so beautiful that I couldn't help it. When is it that this thought becomes tragic? Which compelled me to make this video to begin with. It is its correlation to the real world. I am not condoning cheating here, but somewhere you do understand what Mincheol had in his head when he said that. When suddenly the meek, unattractive old lover of yours starts glowing under a different shade of light. Burdened by roles that we play, we often forget to enjoy our life. We forget to stand still every once in a while and look at the sky and appreciate the birds or listen to a song like we are actually listening to it. How do I say it without sounding cliche? But what I mean is, the presence of a soul is what Mincheol was really after. One loses that, don't they? Over years, over experiences, like a sand castle on the side of the ocean. Our soul also starts becoming old. I look around and I see it so prevalent in our houses, in elders who are dead set on fulfilling their responsibilities, who like to leave no room for mistakes nor enjoyment. Where does a soul breathe in that? How does another soul look at the decay and breathe with it? I'm not blaming Hae-soo for what has happened. How can I? Because when we actually look at the broader picture, it was Mincheol who put her in that position, where she had to resign her life to making money and filling up her free time in taking care of him, folding his laundry, cooking for him, tidying for him, fulfilling his demands as if she was a stand-in of a mother that he never had. When she was so busy running from job to job, how could she have made time to look in the mirror and call herself pretty or appreciate the life that she had been granted? Mincheol, in reality, didn't leave any room for their love to breathe. As a consequence, she became just a caricature painted on the wall of the life that Mincheol was living. Subconsciously, Mincheol was trying to rip her out of the wall and breathe life into something that has become two-dimensional. And this was proven when all he thought about was getting a reaction out of her. His ways must have been childish and toxic, but they are so flawed that they become human. Underneath actions that end up hurting is a naive inner child who is feeling big feelings and does not know or does not have the tools or ways to express and deal with it. But just because we understand where he's coming from doesn't mean he has the right to inflict pain upon someone and then whine about how they are suffering the consequences. One has to be better. Let's take two things away from this video. Growing old with the gold. This also underlines the issue of our society with old age. As the lines on our faces becomes definitive, we lose our charm of youth. But old doesn't necessarily mean death and decay. It also means wise, mature, experienced. Don't forget, now you can give out orange candies to the kids without looking creepy. A lover begins to understand that it doesn't always have to be about the young flame of spontaneity and youthful glow that keeps love intact, and that love also blossoms beautifully in shared experiences over time. The ability of another person to know you and your habits that can only be possible if you allow love to grow old with you and let nature take its toll, keeping it young. Here, let's also not forget about the youthfulness of the soul, the inner child that thrives between kids and loves to throw tantrums. Everyone has an inner child, and people have to learn how to honor it and let it take form. Only then can a youthful soul be ever present. Don't suppress your childlike desires, indulge them every once in a while. Watch the kids playing in the playground, running after one another, falling on the ground, so untouched, and untainted by the expectations of the society. Trust me when I say there is a part of you that wants to be like that as well. To be unaffected by what people expect of you and just let yourself enjoy what life has to offer. So take the chance and let your soul breathe, because only then you and your relationships can be alive. Let's end this with a quote from BoJack Horseman. Love doesn't make you blind. You do see, but with rose-colored glasses, and all red flags look just like any other flag. Thank you, and subscribe for more content.